This is Karen with NewClevelandRadio.net, and it is time for What in the World with
Well, Seaburn, I'm here.
You Are Here.
Hi, and I'm here with Karen Hale. Hi, Karen.
I'm here, and thanks for welcoming me to your show.
Oh, yep. You're always welcome to my show. It just, no, I'm not even going to go there.
Okay.
You're always welcome to my
Well,
show.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, and I know you have our co-host over there, Rich Hale,
Rich
there,
Hale is
our,
here.
our remote or our on-site technician.
Yes.
Uh, And we want to welcome everybody who's listening to us live on YouTube. Thank you for joining us. I don't know if the lovely Donna is on because she is busy working. So if she is, great. Hello, Donna. Tex Chick and all my friends in Texas and all around the world. As you know,
Absolutely.
we are pulling them in from all over the place just to talk about the weird stuff on What in the World.
And I was answering somebody on Facebook today and
Yeah.
saying to them, you really want to listen to What in the World because it is real news, but it's
Yes.
not that stuff that we're hearing on TV and on the radio.
No
It's
way.
it's news that is sort of like hidden somewhere in the newspapers and in the news files. And at least for an hour, just to sit back and, smile and giggle about something that is,
Something that makes you say,
fun.
"What in the world?"
Exactly.
And if you do that, my job is finished.
Well, not finished.
No, not finished. But interesting that you say that, Karen. There's a story I'm going to be talking about in a minute that I posted on Facebook today. As everybody should know, if you want a little bit more or maybe some teasers about what goes on with What in the World, look me up on Facebook. I am also the editor and head writer at mysteriousuniverse.org, and some of these stories you may see there. I post the videos there, so you might get a little more information. But I posted a picture and a joke, and my own sister says in her comment, "Where do you find this stuff?"
She should know by now.
No, yeah, that's right. All my secret sources around the world, and I do. And you're right, Karen. It's all real news. Sometimes strange, always funny. That's our motto here. And it is. I try to take you away from the bad news. I'm not saying that all this stuff is good news. It's certainly fun news. It's strange news, and my goal is just to have a good time with it. So I like to pick
Absolutely.
stories that make me laugh, make me say, "What in the world?" And my job then is to help bring them to you and make you say the same thing. And Karen is your representative there, and Rich behind the scenes as well.
Yes, I think he's going to fall asleep. He's very tired.
What in the world? There we go. Okay, so Karen, as you open the show with the teaser, let me tell you a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today.
Okay.
The boy, my script is all messed up here. This is a great story. A man in Ireland who claims to be a leprechaun whisperer. A leprechaun whisperer. We're going to learn
Wow.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we go to India, where a yogi, okay, not the bear, but a religious person, lived for 80 years without food and water. Allegedly.
Allegedly. Okay.
Okay.
I can't go more than an hour.
Well, maybe we'll find out why. Then hopefully I'll get to this one. We'll talk about the F word without using it, of course. But it's amazing that the F word shows up in studies. And there was a recent study that said it's a good pain reliever. We're going to learn a little bit about that and how to use the F word properly to relieve pain.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe for migraines. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe for Rich. I don't know. Yeah.
He's shaking his head. Yes.
This one is for you. There was another study, and I'm not sure what country this one was from, but they studied robotic vacuum cleaners, and I know you have a robotic.
Yes,
vacuum
I do.
So do I. Turns out the study found that robotic vacuum cleaners can have personalities that are actually recognizable. So we'll talk a little bit about that. A man, I think he's in England, who wants to name his baby boy Cube. And we're going to find out why he wants to name his baby Cube. And then we got some other, we're going to talk about lemonade. The guy, we'll be starting off with this one early, a world record for drinking lemon juice. But I've been talking about lemonade as well. Yeah, I know. It's get ready to pucker up.
Yep.
Get rich. Yeah, get rich involved with that one.
Come over here, honey.
Not yet.
No.
So, plus, we got a few more stories that we'll be talking about. Always funny, sometimes strange, and always fun. So I think that was our motto. Anyways, and I forgot we're going to be playing Bluff the co-host. So, and I hopefully my buddy John is on YouTube. I want to say hi to him. Our former co-host John Dinalo. We've been trying to patch him in. We've been having technical difficulties. Hopefully, within days, we'll get everything connected with this Zoomy thing and have John back on, which would be a lot of fun.
Right.
So let's go right to Idaho, the home of what? Potatoes and lemons and world records, apparently. So there's a guy in Idaho who is notorious. His hobby is setting Guinness World Records. And I don't use his name because he's, I don't want to promote him. I don't want other people to be doing some of the strange stuff he did. Like this, Karen. He just set a Guinness World Record when he drank a liter. So that's 1.75 quarts.
Isn't
not quite
like
2 quarts.
32 ounces?
Not quite, like 28 ounces.
Okay.
28 ounces
Okay.
about, or 26. 100% lemon juice, straight lemon juice. He drank it through a straw in 16.53 seconds. That's a world record, 16.53 seconds.
His throat are hurt.
I know, I agree. I read that. My lips puckered up, my butt puckered up, every orifice on my body puckered up. That was painful just thinking about it. And I have no zest for trying this at home. This is not the kind of lemon thing. I like to bake with lemons. I don't like to drink lemon juice. And of course, the Guinness people have their rules to verify. So here it comes. He was not allowed to puke. Okay, so he had to hold it down for an amount of time. He was not allowed to drink anything else to wash it down or get the taste out of his mouth or anything like that. So in other words, he could not accept any lemonade. And you knew that was coming.
Yeah, you woke Rich up.
I know. I couldn't resist. So, but that's a good segue, as you found out when we were at rehearsal. That's a good segue into my trivia section here. We have a little bit of trivia here for our trivia alert. It's summertime. I'm scared now. Here he is.
He's gonna watch.
I'm gonna watch.
You're gonna watch
other bad jokes like that. I'm gonna watch more.
Okay. I promise. No more bad jokes.
Oh.
Or I'll give you a warning so you can come running over. Don't knock anything over, Rich, with that. Don't go running around with cord. This is the 21st century. We have wireless.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other story.
Yeah, okay, never mind. So summer's here, and summer's the time for lemonade.
Right.
You would think by the amount of lemonade that is consumed in the United States that we're the home and maybe even the originator of the summertime drink of lemonade. You would be wrong. Lemonade dates back to the 7th century in Egypt, 7th century CE or AD, using lemons that were brought to Egypt from India, which was the actual origin of the lemon citrus fruit. They brought it to Egypt. Egypt said, how can you people drink this stuff? They mixed it with lemons, dates, and honey. Dates were very prevalent in that part of the world.
Right.
Honey as well. And then, they'd set up little stands in front of the pyramid and they'd sell it for 10 cents a clay pot. Or I'm not sure what they did there. Well, people came up to look,
Right.
rode up on their camel. So So it turns out that, so that's how long it's been around. Now, the version in the United States, the stuff that we drink, that we know, the stuff that comes in the reconstituted can and
Right.
all that, is actually called cloudy lemonade because you
Oh,
see the pulp and all that
right.
other stuff in there. And also because we're terrible at washing glasses. So, um, our stuff is cloudy.
Okay.
There's a version in Ireland, believe it or not, that's called brown lemonade. Now, that sounds bad. Yeah, I know.
It
I
does.
made the same face. It's actually brown because it's made with brown sugar. So it
Oh,
probably is pretty sweet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Almost
Now,
caramelized.
yeah, if you
Yeah.
go south in the United Kingdom, you get to England. And in England, they drink clear lemonade, which somehow they filter out all the cloudy stuff. And then they mix it with seltzer so that it's carbonated.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So now, then we got it back. We heard about that and said, gee, that's good, except it needs something. What does it need? It needs lime. And that became 7 Up
Oh, wow.
and lime carbonated, which dates back, I think, to around 1925 is about when 7 Up was first invented. Didn't become popular until somebody accidentally mixed it with Seagram's 7 Crown, giving us
Ooh,
7 and 7.
seven. Yes.
And for those of us of a certain age, like Karen and myself and Rich, you remember back probably in the mid 60s, 7 Up really became popular in competition with Coca-Cola and Pepsi-Cola
Right.
because it was the Uncola. And a spokesperson who became famous had a very deep voice. He would hold up a cola nut and he would say, cola nut. And then he would hold up a lemon, this thing that was half lemon and half lime. And he would say, Uncola nut. And that those commercials played for years. I'm sure he made $1 million too. I hope he made $1 million because it ended up popularizing.
We have those Uncola glasses, the
Oh,
7
no
Up
kidding.
glasses
Oh,
that are upside down.
I remember.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about those. Yes.
Yes, we have those, don't we, dear?
Well, those are worth a.
I'm not sure where, but
I know where.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not. This is not the family therapy show. Karen has a bunch of other podcasts where you can get family therapy.
That's
You
true.
should have Rich sit in on those sometimes because he won't hear bad jokes, but he might get some information that he needs.
Okay.
So now one more flavor of lemonade that I thought had a very interesting origin, and that is pink lemonade, which is a very popular
Yeah.
drink, almost as popular as yellow lemonade. As you would guess, it's made by adding fruit juice and food coloring, and that gives it the pink flavor. Pink Lemonade, by the way, is also a really good band, kind of big band, 40s, 50s kind of music, updated to the 90s. Good band. Anyway, so the origin story of Pink Lemonade. This is great. This goes back to 1857 at a circus, and a worker at the circus was making regular lemonade to sell to customers. Pete Conklin was his name. So Pete mixed water, sugar, tartaric acid, and he would take a lemon and just kind of swirl it around in there. And he had the lemon hanging on the side of this big wash tub that he mixed it in. So people thought, oh, that's lemonade, even though he wasn't really putting lemon in, he was putting this acid in there to make it taste like lemon.
Okay.
So so one day he runs out of water and he has no water to make the lemonade. Well, and he's got a show coming up. So here it comes. He's looking around for water. He finds a tub of water that a bareback rider who was in the show, a female bareback rider, had recently used to wash her pink tights. Okay, now this is how desperate he was. And this is confirmed by his brother who told the story. So he added the sugar, the acid, little bits of lemon. He offered it to people as strawberry lemonade, and it sold better than his yellow lemonade did. So then
Wow.
he had to figure out a more legitimate and less disgusting way to make it. And
Absolutely.
he ended up adding strawberry and flavors and all that other stuff. So don't drink that stuff. But lemonade is actually good for you. Lemonade helps prevent kidney stones. And kidney,
Hey, Rich, go get me some.
You need some.
yeah,
I need some right now.
kidney stones will make you pucker up worse than the
Yeah.
lemonade. So
I know.
yeah. Oh, okay. So this isn't a medical show. This is a
Okay.
trivia and weird
Right.
news show. So that's the weird news for today on lemonade. But while we're on the subject of food, and I know you like food, I like food. The Spangler Candy Company announced this week they're bringing back Necco wafers. Now, for those of you who don't remember, I know Karen does.
I
I
do.
have a photo of Necco wafers, and I'm going to hold it up right here to the camera so we can see. That's a package of Necco wafers. Now do they look tasty, Karen?
They don't look tasty, and I remember they didn't have much taste.
Yeah, I'm shocked that there's such a demand for them to bring back Necco wafers, but apparently there is. You remember them? They were dry. Here's the way I described it. The chocolate flavor. Okay, if you want to taste what a Necco chocolate tastes like, you get a stick and you get a glass of chocolate milk and you stir the chocolate milk with the stick. Then you take the stick out and you eat the stick. And that's what a Necco wafer tastes like, the chocolate one. If you do it with lemonade and eat the stick, that's what the lemon tastes like. So, for my friends, I grew up Catholic, and when we were kids, when we were in second grade, we received our first communion. So, we got the wafer, and I remember the nuns who had a little bit of money bought Necco wafers. And we practiced with those little wafers, which were about the same size as the little host. So that's my. I think that's how they got us hooked on Necco wafers.
We froze. We have a technical difficulty right now. We are frozen. Okay. We are not coming back, and I'm not sure why. So, everybody, stick with us. But our podcast is frozen.
I don't know what to tell you.
Okay. Well, I think we just lost Paul. And so hopefully he's going to connect back in. For some reason, we froze. The Zoom podcast froze. Well, Paul was talking to us, and hopefully he's going to sign back in. And in the meantime, I'm not very funny, everybody. So just bear with me while we try to figure out what's going on with Paul. And hey, Richard, do you have something funny to say?
Not right at the moment.
Oh, well, we can't even hear you because you're not talking into the microphone.
Not right at the moment.
Not right at the moment.
You still can't hear me.
I can hear you now.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
You didn't have my volume on.
Well, of course not.
Oh.
So
Well, I just will say that I sort of go through and listen to Paul talk, and then I sort of look up some of his facts. And the guy who invented 7-Up also invented something called Whistle. And that was an orange flavor of 7-Up with oranges in it instead of lemons. And that's no longer around anymore. So, but he did invent it, and both of them were invented right about the same time. So,
interesting.
So just for
Whistle.
Whistle. And
does it say what Whistle is?
It's orange instead of lemon.
Oh, orange instead of lemon.
Yeah.
But it didn't stick around.
No, But we do have Crush Orange now, so I mean, it did stick around, but not in the whistle name.
Okay. Well, I'm going to try to call Paul on the phone. See what's going on there.
You keep talking to Paul on the phone, and I'll sit here and try to
Yeah, you can
think of
talk.
something.
Yeah, you think of
I'm
something.
trying to think of where those wireless headsets are that we have.
That would be
that
wonderful
we
to
found
use.
last week. Remember when we were cleaning things up downstairs? I'm thinking it's in the closet downstairs, but I'm not sure. It might have been in the garage.
So
And
people are going to hear me talk. Hi, do you want? Okay, so you have no power or something?
he lost his power again.
You lost the internet. Okay.
Tell him to go back to where he found it before and use that.
Okay. So I'm going to let everybody know, even though, you know, we're going to end this now, we will try to resume at some point, either later today or tomorrow, so we can have oh,
He's getting it back. Maybe he's getting it back.
he's
No, he's not.
okay. Well, we will end the show now, and then
His little lights are out on his router. He's got no lights.
you can't hear me.
He's one of those people with no lights.
That's okay. So you let me know when you get internet back. I will let our listeners know, and that that we will resume it as soon as you get power back, and you just let me know. Okay.
Okay, so
Whenever you
the
want.
comments are going to be that we're going to wait until
okay.
he gets
The
internet
signal
back.
may be back, so hold on, everybody.
Hold on.
Okay.
I'm holding on.
Oh, good.
He's got his signal back, it sounds like.
All right.
I'm reading from Karen's expressions and the comments that she's making.
You're making comments on my comments?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a sportscast, you know? I mean, it's like what's happened, and I'm the play-by-play guy, you know? I'm trying to say, it's a beautiful day out here in the neighborhood.
But you haven't connected yet.
We got sun outside.
I can't see you at all.
It's a great day. It's a great, great day.
Wait a second. There you are. There you are. Hold on.
Oh, here he comes. We're going to
Um,
see the rest of that play. Here we come. He's at second base.
I'm letting him in right now.
Oh, we're letting him in at second base.
There you are.
She's got him
I'm
back.
hanging up. Bye.
She's hanging up, and soon he's going to show up on second base.
He's on second base right now.
Second base. Wow.
Okay.
Okay. I have no idea what that means.
Well, for all of you that were listening and watching, the internet went down in the hometown of Brecksville. But you know what? We don't panic, because
Right.
what in the world?
What in the world? That's what I just said, only when they're not so many words.
Right.
So this is interesting. I do see a little thing in the corner that says we're live on YouTube, which I don't remember seeing before. So we may have been upgraded for all I know.
Okay, maybe.
There he
So
is.
where were we? We were talking about lemonade.
Right,
Oh,
lemonade.
So we're talking about Necco wafers.
Right.
Spangler. So the Spangler Candy Company is right down the road here in Bryan, Ohio, and they're originally the makers of Dum Dum Suckers. You remember Dum Dum?
Oh, I like the Dum Dums.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they still make those. Yeah, they're pretty tiny.
Yeah.
Not like the ones we used to get back in the old days. So the Spangler bought the rights to Necco and bought the machines, and they said they're going to put them in the original wax paper, like we
Oh,
really did.
wow.
Yeah. Now, Bryan, Ohio, I don't know why Bryan attracts companies like this, but it's also the home of Ohio Edison, which makes the Etch-a-Sketch, which is another one of those old toys that
Right.
people of our generation remember. So the Necco wafer, here's a little bit of, not again, did we lose it? No, I see.
No,
it.
you're still there.
Okay, there we go. I lost you on my side here. In 1847, a guy by the name of Oliver Chase invented the first American candy machine, a lozenge making machine. So that's what he was making, is these dried little things. And 1847, people never see anything like this. They said, "Oh yeah, here, give me one, I'll eat it." And I guess he put a little sugar in it and sold it as candy. So in 1901, he and his brother joined a bunch of other people with money, and they formed the New England Confection Company, NECCO, NECO.
Oh,
Yeah, how about that? Started a company making nothing but these little wafers. They were popular during the Civil War because, melt in your mouth. Well, I don't even think those melt in your mouth, but they definitely don't melt in your pocket or in your
right.
hand. So the soldiers took them during the Civil War. In World War II, same thing. The U.S. government bought a huge stockpile of Necco wafers and sent them to the soldiers or service people overseas. They took them to Antarctica. I thought this was really interesting.
Wow.
The South Pole, they sent for because they didn't need refrigeration or anything like that. They sent the equivalent of enough for a pound of Necco wafers a week for the people to eat down there. Now, they're not, who eats a pound of Necco wafer? Then they probably threw them outside and the penguins ate them, and now the penguins hate them too. So, and I mean, the taste is bad. I know the taste is bad. The colors are worse and the flavor.
Right.
Yeah. Now, okay. So here's a little quiz for you, Karen. There's only 8 colors, so this should be easy. Can you remember the colors?
I believe there's like a light, almost a white beige color.
Okay.
There-
There's.
The chocolate.
I'll tell you what. I'll give you the color. And
Okay.
you give me the flavor.
Oh
So
yeah, great.
start with the easy ones. This is easy. So yellow would be
Lemon,
lemon. Okay. Green,
lime,
lime. Oh, very good. Very good. Orange.
orange.
Orange. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we move to the harder ones. This is where it gets weird. Light purple.
Light purple. That wasn't the licorice.
No.
Light-
Clove.
Oh, that
Clove. Yeah.
yes.
Oh, what's clove?
Yeah,
There was a gum called clove gum.
clove, yes.
And and you put clove, you make cookies. I know I use maybe pumpkin pie. Something uses clove, the spice. Oh, and ham. You put
Yes.
clove in ham when you roast it. White, which you said was cinnamon, which doesn't, cinnamon comes
sense,
in
yeah.
red, not white. So
Yeah.
that was another weird flavor. And then pink. Okay, you'll never get this one, but take a guess.
Not strawberry?
No, wintergreen. Wintergreen, which would be a minty flavor.
Yeah.
But they already use green for lime, so they took pink. Now here's the hard one. Dark gray.
That was licorice.
That was the licorice, right? Yeah, which everybody threw away. And brown was
It's
chocolate.
chocolate.
So they preserved all of the flavors. They changed the formula on chocolate to make it more chocolatey, which tells you something. So that's a little bit on Necco wafers. If you're interested, they're actually not coming out until 2021 because the coronavirus slowed that
Yeah.
down.
We don't need them this year.
Yeah. So yeah. Now, in a time when we could use Necco wafers to pull us through, pull us together, and give us something to take our minds off of it, we don't have them.
Right.
So Dum Dum, they're still selling Dum Dum.
Well, that can take our minds off of things.
There you go. That's right, for like a minute, and then it's gone, or you bite it, and it's gone even sooner
Yep.
than that. Okay, so I know we mentioned before that, and we have talked about this before, that you have a robotic vacuum cleaner. I believe you have the Roomba brand.
Yes, I do. I have
You do,
iRobot.
okay.
Yeah.
Although there's others, made by iRobot. Good name. So proving once again that you can get money for any kind of study. A group of people got funding, a group of researchers, to study whether a robotic vacuum cleaner can demonstrate a personality. And the personalities they picked were from the Seven Dwarfs. Okay, so sleepy, dopey,
Yeah,
grumpy,
Doc.
things
Yeah,
like
I
that. Yeah,
got
Doc, right.
it.
So to make it easy, in order to reprogram, they had to reprogram the Roombas to act like one of the dwarfs. So they used artificial intelligence and figured out the personalities of three dwarfs. Dopey, wait a minute, no, it was Grumpy, Happy, and Sleepy were the three dwarfs that they came up with the personalities for. And then they looked to see if people could figure out what personality they were. So Happy kind of kept the same speed and went back and forth and never changed anything. It just plugging along, moving quickly. So people were able to just to say, oh yeah, that's obviously Happy. Sleepy went slower, duh. Bumped into more things, duh. And over time slowed down more and more and more and more. So that was easy to determine. They figured that one out. That was Sleepy. Then Grumpy. I think I have Grumpy. Actually, I have Oscar Madison. Remember Oscar Madison from the Odd
Yes.
Couple? Because you run the Roomba all day long and everything's still dirty. So could be I need to empty it.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Oh, anyway, they were using fresh out of the box ones,
Good.
they got grant money, so that's what you use it for. So Grumpy avoided people. Okay, so they programmed it to stay away from people. They gave it erratic motion, so it went around all over the place, and it would speed up, slow down. You never knew what it was going to do. So that was easy for the users to say, oh, that's obvious. Obviously, I got one of the Grumpies. So I'm thinking this must have made the other four dwarfs unhappy that they didn't get chosen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I chose them, and I'm giving them personalities. So which ones did we left out? That
Well, we have Grumpy and we have Sleepy. And
we did Grumpy. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. They said they all. This is we have this tendency as humans to give everything a human characteristic.
Sure.
So the participants, they said that the happy Roomba was friendly and intelligent, and the grumpy Roomba was impolite and unfriendly. So now, Dopey, I figured Dopey just sits there because the battery's dead. So that'd be easy to figure out. Bashful. I think I had a bashful Roomba because as soon as the dogs came into the room, it would run under the bed. So I think there must have been an incident when I
Right.
wasn't around when the dogs did something, and next thing you know, Bashful runs under the bed. Doc, okay, Doc is easy. All Doc does is goes back to the dock. Every time he goes back to the dock, that's it. Spend all your time in the dock. It must be Doc. He's addicted to charging, and I could see that happen. And then Sneezy, obviously your house is filthy. If he's sneezing all the time, that explains it. So
Absolutely.
there you go. So now we have seven different personalities for your Roombas.
Well, I will tell you, my Roomba has to be Sleepy.
Sleepy, really?
Yes, because, he'll stop in the middle of his job and just be out in the middle of nowhere saying, I'm stuck, I'm stuck, I'm stuck.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He says that?
Oh, it comes out and says that he's stuck.
Oh, you have a later model than we do.
Oh, I just got
Art
the,
doesn't speak.
yeah, well,
Wow. Boy.
he keeps Richard up at night.
Well,
Well,
a lot of times when I'm going to the bathroom, I can hear him saying, "Help, I'm stuck." It's like it's ridiculous.
maybe he's lonely, Rich, and he wants you to-
Probably.
Yeah. Is it a he or a she?
It's a he, it's Robinsky.
Oh, well, that's good, with an attitude.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, well, I'm going to give you an attitude now.
Okay.
Because I have, I'm going to show you the picture that caused my sister to take time out of her busy day and ask me where the heck I get all of these pictures and stories. So I'm going to show you this picture, Karen. I know you probably saw it on on Facebook today. That is a head of a real human being with a tattoo on it that looks like it's a hole going
Yeah.
into his head.
Does, yeah.
Great
Gross
perspective.
looking.
The artist is unbelievable. The choice is leave something to be desired. I'm thinking, what is that? I see that and I said, now what does that look like? To me, it looked like my brain when I turn on the wrong news channel and stuff gets sucked out of my brain. That's it right there. If I did something like that, if I came home with something like that back when I lived at home, first thing, my father would take my head and he'd whack it to see if he could, get those things to stop wiggling, and at the same time punish me for it. My mother would give me a hat, and then she'd give me another hat and another hat, because she would never want me to go outside with that hat again. And then she would pray to Saint Anthony, because Saint Anthony is who the Catholics pray to when you lose something. And she figured I must have lost my brain, at least my marbles. So she would pray to hope, and certainly to hope you could find someone who could erase it. And I don't know, boy, that was a lot of work, whatever that was. So
That's a tattoo?
Yeah, that was a
that was
tattoo.
a tattoo, a real tattoo, Rich. Yeah. So that's all I have to say about that. That was probably the weirdest picture I've seen in quite a while. And as you probably remember, Karen, it was sometime last year. I think I did a couple of shows about people who got tattoos to make themselves look like lizards.
Right. Yep.
So they had tattoos on their face and green and piercings and teeth implants. This guy isn't as too bad when you compare him to those, but
I
still
guess.
bad enough. Yeah.
It's weird. Yep.
So now my last story here before we get into something a little longer. This one came, I think, from Great Britain, because it was in a British tabloid, although they didn't say where the people were. So it's a couple. The woman's pregnant. It's their first child. She asked her husband, honey, what would you like to name our first child? And he says, well, I like mathematics, maybe something mathematical. So she's thinking maybe Albert, Albert Einstein, Isaac Newton, Ada, if it's a girl, Ada Lovelace, who was a famous female mathematician way back in the early days of computer programming. He said, no. He said, I'm a fan of the mathematician who invented the Rubik's Cube, Mr. Rubik. Okay, so she's thinking, okay, he wants to name our baby Rubik. Maybe people will call him Rube, or if it's a girl, Ruby. How bad can that be? And he said, no, I wanted him or her to be named Cube, because I'm an admirer of the cube. Yeah, he didn't like Rubik. He liked Cube. And no two ways about it. He said, this is it. No matter who it is, our baby, boy or girl, they're going to be called Cube. So I hope they're wealthy, because they're going to spend a lot of money on therapy for this poor kid, especially if it's a boy. Now I'm thinking, if it's a girl, they didn't give the couple's last name. So I gave them a last name, Smith. So this little girl's name is Cube Smith. And she makes it through life till she's of a marrying age. And there's an old joke formula, if so-and-so married so-and-so, they'd be so-and-so.
Right.
Well, it just so happens one of my favorite actors is an actor by the name of Stephen Root. And he goes back to the days of talk radio, I think it was called, news radio with Phil Hartman. And he was the man in the High Castle in the recent series, Man in the High Castle. You see him, you know him, he's a very popular artist. So that hit me. I said, if Cube Smith married Stephen Root, she'd be Cube Root.
Oh,
much better. Yeah, that's not too bad then. That's a little better than Cube Smith. So maybe not. I don't know. She'd probably need therapy as well. So here's one more time. Let's show that picture. There's that guy with that weird tattoo head. Unbelievable. How did who comes up with this kind of stuff? What in the world?
That's
a-
right.
What in the world were they?
Next thing, I'm going to do a tattoo just like that, only it's going to be a spiral going in.
Well, what someone on Facebook said, why on earth would someone get a zebra's butt tattooed on their head? And that is what it looks like. From the
Yeah.
rear, it looks like a zebra's butt. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay. I think we should leave it at that.
Yeah, so let's move to Ireland, where we're going to talk about leprechauns. Now, this was a really cool story. It just shows you how myths become reality in countries, and obviously this comes from Ireland. And the first thing that caught my eye was they call this guy the leprechaun whisperer. Now that goes back to a book called The Horse Whisperer, which
Right.
was written by Nicholas Evans in 1995. One of the most popular novels of all times. To this day, one of the best-selling books of all time, in at least the top 20, if not the top 10, which I didn't realize. I didn't realize it was that popular. Then made into an even more popular movie called The Horse Whisperer, starring, I don't know if you remember,
No, I don't.
Redford.
Ah,
I know the
good looking guy.
that's right. He was much better looking than the horse. He was also the director, and the little girl, oh, here we go. This is not going to be a good day here. I'm going to answer the phone here so it stops ringing behind me. The girl who had the horse that he whispered to, Scarlett Johansson, in her breakout role as an actress. So she's
Right.
gone on to a fabulous career. So it was the book and the movie were so popular that all experts now are called the blank whisperer.
Oh, okay.
You're the podcasting
Whisper.
whisperer. Yeah, I'm the chupacabra whisperer, or maybe the Bigfoot whisperer. I don't know. So you're stuck, that because of that thing. So this guy's proud of it. He calls himself the last, not just the leprechaun whisperer, but the last leprechaun whisperer. So whenever someone calls himself the last, I always wonder, did they ever meet the second last one? Was there a competition? Who's going to live the longest? Did they put each other in the will? Well, if I go first, you get all my leprechauns, and if you go first, I get all your leprechauns. I don't know the answer to that, but this guy does have leprechauns. His name is Kevin Woods. He was just on TV because he has an annual leprechaun hunt. Now,
Oh,
don't worry, no leprechauns are harmed. It's kind of like going bird watching. They go
oh, okay.
leprechaun. And he was also, so it got canceled because of the coronavirus. And so he went on TV in Great Britain to announce that it was canceled, and also to reassure everyone that the leprechauns are dealing with the coronavirus. They're doing
That's
okay.
good. I'm glad to hear that.
I guess, yeah. So now, the only thing that we Americans know about leprechauns is what we learned on a box of Lucky Charms and on St. Patrick's Day. And we know about the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And that's pretty much it.
Right.
So according to this guy, Kevin Woods, leprechauns are spirits, but they manifest themselves into these little people who are not threatening. That's the reason why they look like that. So he sees them as the little people, just like everybody else does. He talks to them every day, or whispers to them. He says he does social distancing with them, and apparently they must social distance with each other.
Well, that's good. Yeah.
Scaled down model,
Yeah.
of course. So he wanted to reassure everybody that the leprechauns are doing okay. So how the heck did this guy become the leprechaun whisperer, you may ask? Was he born that way? No, it's a great story. It starts in 1989 in a pub, of course.
Of course, we're out.
This is Ireland. So the pub owner, PJ O'Hare, great Irish name, he claimed that he went up to the Foy Mountain, which is near where his pub was, and found a leprechaun suit, which would be, maybe about that big, with 4 gold coins in the pocket, some bones next to the suit, and a patch of scorched earth. So, who wants to know what happened there?
Right. Yeah.
But he was smart enough. He picked up the suit, the bones, and the 4 coins, took them back to the bar, put them up above the bar in a big display case. It became the Leprechaun Bones Bar, I guess, pub. I'm sorry, pub. So he tells this story. So Woods is a regular at the pub. He says, "Hey, Patty, you're full of it, PJ." So, but they gave Woods an idea. He says, he sees people coming to the pub because of the leprechaun. How can I cash in on this? He asked himself. So he starts this annual leprechaun hunt. Hey, if PJ could find one, we can all find one. So he does this annual hunt where we go, for a small fee, he leads the people out into the woods, onto the Foy Mountain, looking for leprechaun. I don't believe they ever found any. Okay, so one day comes by, PJ passes away. So they open up the display case. The suit is there, the bones are there, the coins are gone. So Kevin gives up. He's out helping to clean up PJ's property, and he looks at a wall. He moves a stone in the wall. Behind the stone are the 4 coins, the 4 gold coins.
Wow.
So yeah, so he takes he takes the coins. He doesn't spend them, man. That would have been the typical Irishman would have run right back into the pub. And
Pub, right.
He takes them up to the mountain, and this time 3 leprechauns appeared to him. Okay, but he can't. He makes signals, and they don't respond to him. So he's heartbroken. He goes back down the mountain, goes to the bar, doesn't spend them, goes back up to the mountain the next day. The next day, he meets one leprechaun, and this leprechaun can communicate with him. And he says his name is Craig, like Craig, only Craig, and that he and 235 other leprechauns live there. So that's 236. They're the last living leprechauns.
Wow.
All live on that mountain. Why? He said there were millions of them. Now there's only 236. Not because of the plague or the leprechaun plague or eating bad Lucky Charms or anything like that. It's because no one believes in them anymore. Yeah, isn't that sad? I know.
Need to believe.
Yeah, you got to believe. So they convinced Kevin, because here he is. He's talking to one. So he says, "Well, what can I do?" And Craig says, "Well, get more people to believe in me." So he goes. So smart thinking. He goes to the European Union, okay, because they're still in the European Union, in the EU, and he gets the whole area protected and all of the leprechauns in it as a under a habitats directive. So basically, it's like a nature preserve, and everything in the nature preserve is protected. And then he says, "Where's my pot of gold?" Well, there is no pot of gold. So how's he going to make money? So he writes a book called The Last of the Leprechauns. He sells that. He builds a cave that the leprechauns are allegedly in. He sells admission to that. He runs tours. He gives lectures, and he does his annual hunt. So he's doing okay as a result of being a whisperer, even though he doesn't really whisper it. He says it's more telepathic than whispering. The thing is, though, is that the coronavirus shut him down because now there's no tourism. So that was one of the reasons why he went on TV. He says, "Hey, we'll be coming back soon. The leprechauns are still there. They didn't get the virus. By the way, here's my book. You could still read about them. I'm still selling little plastic leprechauns. Go to my website." So, I hate to say that, but that's true. It's true. That's what he's doing. So, if you believe in leprechauns, that's great. That's a great place to go for a vacation once people can go on vacation again. If you don't, if you believe in out-of-body experiences, he says that they're not able to, they can't pass the coronavirus via telepathy. So that's good news. If
Oh,
you're
that is very good news. Yes.
I'm not, but it sounds like Rich talks to his Roomba. So
No,
uh,
I talk to it.
oh, you talk to it. Oh, okay, okay. Well, you won't be passing anything to your Roomba,
Right.
and even if you don't believe any of that nonsense, you can still go to a nice pub in Ireland and have a beer, and tip your glass to and toast PJ O'Hare and Kevin Woods and the last of the leprechaun whisperers.
Well, I'm going to believe in leprechauns.
You are good. Well, then you're saving a couple.
Yes, I am.
I'm sure they appreciate it. So now let's go back to food for a little while here. We were talking about food. This is a story about fasting, but extreme fasting, not the kind of diet fasting that people are doing. I've tried it myself, where you only eat during a short period of time during the day, and the rest of the time you don't eat. That's a limited fasting. Well, this is extreme fasting. Comes to us from India, which is apparently a hotbed of extreme fasting. And the reason why this story was in the news is because this yogi, who calls himself a breatharian, which means he lives on breathing.
Oh, okay.
Okay. He just died at the age of 91 after living allegedly 80 years without food or water, without consuming any food or water. 80 years, just breathing. What do you think he died of?
Lack of oxygen.
Boredom. No, old age.
Ah, okay.
Old age. He died of old age. It wasn't the starvation that killed him. So obviously he's a Hindu mystic of some sort. He claimed he got the ability in a spiritual experience when he was at the age of 12. His name was Prahlad Jani, and I'm not going to pronounce it anymore because I'm sure I pronounced it wrong. So he got this vision from a Hindu goddess named Amba. Okay, Amba told him, "Don't eat anymore, don't drink anymore," and she drilled a hole. So he says inside in his palate, right,
Right.
up there, okay, and sent a liquid magically into his head that would drip in through the hole in his palate into his stomach, and that was his nourishment. So he didn't have to eat, didn't have to drink. He got and all he had to do was breathe. He would get nutrients from breathing. She also told him that he had to dress like a woman. So he believed it. He believed it. So he wore a red sari, which is what the women wear.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. I felt the same way. But he didn't. He wasn't sorry. So he was known for wearing this dress. He wore jewelry. He had long flowing hair. He had flowers in his hair, from San Francisco. So that's what he did. He lived for all this time. So of course there were plenty of skeptics, like two people here, probably three. Not the kind of thing you would recommend to people to try at home, especially kids. But there's actually in India many people who call themselves breatharian. Some of them are overweight, which kills me. How can you live on oxygen and be overweight?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So of course, they all agree. This doesn't look good for the religion. So they send them to breath watchers, and they cut back on breathing and on whatever that drip is in their mouth. So this guy, he says, "Hey, no, really, I'm telling the truth." So he underwent scientific tests twice. First time in 2003. They locked him in a room, allegedly, for 10 days the first time, and at a hospital, and they kept him under surveillance. They gave him water twice, once to gargle, and they made him spit it out, and they measured it afterwards. And they gave him water to bathe, and they did the same thing. They measured it, make sure he wasn't drinking it. They also had a toilet there to measure whatever came out of him. He never used it once, allegedly. Okay, so they claim they watched him the whole time. He never consumed anything. Now there's rumors from skeptics because they wouldn't let independent people come in, that some of his followers came. They were supposed to take him outside and get some sunlight and get some air, and they think that they may have slipped in something. He denies it, they deny it. Okay, so you know, the test was accepted by some people, but not by skeptics. So he says, well, hey, look at me. He says, I can walk 100 kilometers a day. Now, 100 kilometers a day is 62 miles, which is a long way to go. You know,
That is.
yeah, he claimed, and he wouldn't sweat. That was his bragging. He could walk 62 miles. I never sweat. I never feel tired, never feel sleepy. Um, he said he could meditate for hours, even months at a time, never had to eat. So he got tired of people saying, oh, baloney, Yanni or Yogi. So he went back to the hospital again. And this time the military showed up because they said, hey, if this guy's really doing this, we could create soldiers that never had to eat or drink. And,
Wow.
you know, we could cut
Money?
out the whole mess tent.
Yeah.
Yeah, save a lot of money. So the Defense Department of India was involved with the test. And this time they locked him in the room for 14 days, 2 full weeks. Said the same thing, monitored everything, blah, blah, blah. Looked again like he was not eating, he was not drinking. All he was doing was breathing, and survived for 14 days. Never went to the bathroom once. They have no idea how he pulled it off, but they still don't believe him. They just have no idea how he pulled it off. So, you know, of course, this would be the perfect person to do an autopsy on. And of course, they didn't do an autopsy.
Of course.
So it turns out this triggered an idea, though, another memory of mine having to do with the Necco wafers. When growing up in a Catholic school, we learned about the saints, the holy people of our religion. And there was, I seem to remember that there were some saints who did not eat or drink. And one of them was Saint Catherine of Siena. And she devoted herself to God, gave up all food, all liquids, except for the communion host. So I don't know if a Necco wafer was any more nourishment than a little piece of bread,
Yeah.
but she claimed that was all she ate, and it got her into sainthood. So hey, but if I was going to pick a saint to read about or to follow, there's some better ones in mind. So mine would be Saint Anthony the Abbot. Saint Anthony the Abbot is the patron saint of bacon.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Everybody loves bacon.
I know my Catholic friends and I always talk about this. There's a saint for everything. So he was, and the reason why he was the patron saint, he's the patron saint of bacon, is because he would heal people by rubbing pig fat on them.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'd put up with that part.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he healed people. So Saint Anthony of the Abbot. Then Saint Elizabeth of Hungary, another good one. She's the patron saint of bread because she was a baker. Or Saint Nicholas. Now we know Saint Nicholas eventually became Santa Claus.
Right.
Before that, Saint Nicholas was the patron saint of beer. Apparently he was a brewer.
No wonder he was a jolly old fellow.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, now you know where that comes from. So hopefully Saint Nicholas knew Saint Bibiana, because Saint Bibiana is the patron saint of hangovers. And it has something to do with her curing someone of a headache or something to that effect. Yeah, how about that? So there's no medical explanation for the yogi. He went under some tests. We don't know how many tests he went under. Kids, don't try this at home. It's not healthy to go without food for very long. You know, but you want to believe, great, kind of like believing in leprechauns, I guess.
Absolutely.
You want to believe in them, there'll be more yogis. And maybe I can get a job as a yogi whisperer.
Ooh. That could be interesting. Does it pay well?
Yeah. So I think I'm by the clock on my little computer over here, it seems to me that we're about time for Bluff the Co-host.
It is time.
That's so we have Bluff the Co-host, Bluff the Co-host. That's our weekly game.
Yep.
Very popular, apparently. We it works very similarly to What in the World, in that I have 3 additional stories, 3 last stories that are similar in nature, The difference is they may or may not be true. So if it's true, I'll read the story. Rich and Karen try to decide if it's true or if it's a bluff. And it could be, one could be a bluff. They could all be bluffs. They could all be true. We don't know. It's all up to that tattoo
Yeah.
on the back of my head, which whatever it is. So anyways, okay, so let's get right to it. Remember, no wagering, hands on the buzzers.
My hands on the buzzer.
Okay. Story number 1. Just when you thought things couldn't get any worse, they do. Marine biologists are warning people returning to Myrtle Beach and other beaches in North and South Carolina to beware of getting stung by the Portuguese woman of war jellyfish. Little is known about the woman of war jellyfish, but biologists think that climate change is bringing these rare woman of war jellyfish up from the deep waters where they normally live. They're only about 70% of the size of the more common man of war, and the woman of war, but packs a bigger sting. They can sting longer, and they can withstand more abuse from people trying to brush them off in the water. According to the marine biologist, the only good news in this is that the women of war jellyfish leave the area soon, but could be back in about a month. Okay, so new jellyfish, very, very, very rare, rarely seen. Climate change is bringing them up at Myrtle Beach. If you're going back there, the woman of war. It's not of, there's just the O with
Oh,
the
okay.
apostrophe. Woman of war jellyfish. Now, I've seen man of wars. They're pretty scary. This is the woman of war.
It sounds realistic, so I'm going to say true.
True. So Karen says it's true. Rich?
Were you listening, Rich?
I heard
Rich is a
about
big beach goer. I know that.
I've heard something about a new man of war, and so yeah, it's probably true.
A new man of war. Oh, okay.
Well,
Of course.
I think it's this one. It's
So just, okay. All right.
Oh,
So
the
Rich
thing on
thinks
the
that the
top.
woman of war is this new man of war. Karen thinks they're true. Gotcha. The bluff.
Richard, it was a bluff. You didn't read
Bluff.
about it.
How about that? There's no
I
such
did
thing.
read it. It's supposed to be able to sting you on the top, which the man of war cannot do.
Oh, well, so maybe it is a man of war, but it's not a woman of war.
Oh, it's not a woman of war.
Not a woman
Okay.
of war. It was,
Okay.
So
Mother Nature doesn't allow females to serve in her military.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So story number 2, hands on the buzzer. You may think it's you, but psychologists say that the people who have the hardest time dealing with wearing a mask are those who have a sneeze fetish. That's right. There are people who like to make themselves sneeze just for the feel of it, which Dr. Ruth Westheimer once compared to having a minor orgasm. Sneeze fetishing is actually a group activity. Practitioners like to achoo with other fetishers who watch and then sneeze back at you. This obviously is not a good thing to do with the coronavirus still around us. So many sneeze fetishers are going through sneeze withdrawals. Doctors tell them to avoid being around pepper and their other sneeze triggers, but don't hold the sneezes in because they may have a cold or something worse. So, wearing a mask these days, bad news for sneeze fetishers who have to give up sneezing until they find a vaccine for the coronavirus.
I do not believe that is true. So I'm going to say it's a fake.
So Karen says it's a bluff. There's no such thing as a sneeze fetish. And I know Rich has a few fetishes, but no, that's the subject for a different show.
yeah.
Probably on a different podcast.
I'm gonna say it's true, just because I want to go different than Karen.
You want he wants to believe that there are people who get off on sneezing.
Yes.
You know what? It's true.
Got
There really are.
it, Rich.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they're really going through withdrawals because they're not allowed to sneeze while obviously, while the coronavirus shutdown is going on, and especially around other people. Oh, very good. Okay, Richard's ahead here. The bad news is points are double. So Karen, you still have a chance to
I
catch
have
up
a
here.
chance. I lost
Okay.
last week.
Okay, here's our third story. Story number 3, hands on the buzzer. You won't complain about the taste of medicine after you hear this. Newly discovered papers written by Sir Isaac Newton, who we just talked about a second ago.
Yeah.
Sir Isaac Newton describe a cure for the bubonic plague, which Sir Isaac developed, which involved making lozenges out of powdered toad and toad vomit. The 1667 recipe involved hanging a large toad upside down in a chimney for 3 days with a bowl underneath it to catch the toad vomit. The dead toad was then ground into a powder, mixed with its own vomit, and formed into lozenges about the size of those Necco wafers we were talking about. The good news is the lozenges didn't have to be eaten. They could just be attached to the skin, wrapped around, and absorbed to kill the plague poison. You don't need an apple to fall on your head to figure out that Newton's cure didn't work, but at least it was covered by insurance. So, newly discovered cure for the bubonic plague, courtesy of Sir Isaac Newton, involving lozenges made with ground toad and toad vomit, which I think I saw them open for Three Dog Night.
Good one. Okay, I have to
Toad
stick
in the
with
wet vomit.
this has to be a bluff, and if it's not, I'm gonna go vomit.
Well, we're talking about Sir Isaac Newton here,
Yeah.
brainiac of the 1600s.
So Rich,
So, Rich, speaking of brainiacs,
I'm going to say, again, I'm going to go against what Karen's doing just so that it makes it more interesting. I'm going to say it's true.
makes your life either better or worse later on.
Yeah.
I guess. Now, so I lost track. Karen, you say it's a bluff.
bluff. He
And
says
Rich
it's true.
says it's true. Rich is 2 for 3 here. It's true.
Wow.
Isaac Newton, actually, these papers came up for auction, and they're reading them. And here's it in the middle of it. Oh, and by the way, to cure the bubonic plague, grind up some toad vomit and ground toad and make it into lozenges and either eat it or stick it on your skin and absorb it. And
Yeah.
of course,
Did it taste like a Necco wafer?
Okay, forget it.
it was the gray one. That's what it tasted like. The licorice one. So anyways, that was a fun game. That brings us to the end of another What in the World.
Yes.
What in the world? We made it through with only one technical glitch. I apologize again for that. There's something going on in my neighborhood in beautiful downtown Brecksville, interrupting my internet service. So, things could be worse, and they are.
It could
Don't feel bad. I was trying to keep the traffic down on the other internet, so I used the cable modem, and it crashed halfway through and never has come back.
Oh no!
Yeah. So
Wow.
we will be contacting the cable modem people, but in the meantime, World was a great show today. I want to thank you. And for all those of you listening, thank you for putting up with the quirks that we go through.
Yeah.
But that's part of what's happening in this world today. Watch TV and you can see that your TV screen can go blank for a second or two. That happened to us this morning.
Don't watch too much or you'll get that thing in your head.
Yeah, that tattoo. So we'll see you next week.
Yes.
Have a great week. Have a great week, everybody. And maybe we can get John connected and online this next week.
Can you get that tattoo without cutting your hair?
Now that only on your chest or your butt.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted it on my head.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
No tattoos in this
We'll
family.
find out next week.
Have a great day, everybody. Bye.
Bye.